Hello and welcome to the Workflows with eMAM webinar. My name is Chuck Bulow. I'm the VP of Business Development. And today we're going to be going over a number of different workflows that we have our current customers are using with eMAM. So various different deployments and different types of workflows and various things that we have deployed in most countries, or a lot of countries around the world. So we'll go through that. So just a little bit of housekeeping. There is a question section in the GoToWebinar tool, and you can go ahead and ask any questions that you'd like. Go ahead and type those in during the webinar, and then I'll get back with you at the very end, and we'll hopefully go ahead and answer all the questions, if not most of the questions. So, all right, we'll go ahead and get started. These are just going to be PowerPoints that we're going to go through various types of workflows. So the ones I came up with that are most widely used, and again, our system can be on-prem, in the cloud, or hybrid in deployment. So a lot of these different workflows we can go ahead and actually deploy in various situations with multiple locations and various things. So just to kind of set that as a premise there. So the workflows we're going to discuss today: on-premise, archive, and publish. So being able to archive the media, both local and both cloud as well, that's also an option. Cloud production and delivery, media packaging and distribution, which is quite unique and interesting. Also live recording and editing. So we have a few clients who are actually recording, editing content as it's coming in. And then lastly, we'll go through the newsroom production and play out as well. So first up, what we'll do is just to kind of give you an idea of what we do, eMAM. Again, we acquire media either through files, camera cards, uploads to S3 buckets or local storage and so on. We organize the content in what we call categories, set permission levels at that point. You're able to then bring in the content or look through and search for content, import that into projects such as the Adobe Suite, DaVinci Resolve, Avid, and Final Cut. And then also we're working with a product called Cutting Room, which is a cloud-based editor as well. So we're just working out the kinks on that one and different workflows there. Collaboration, being able to share the content, do review and approve, send out links to proxy media, giving permissions to download, collaborate on that content, deliver and share. Basically be able to deliver and move the media to different locations for playouts, social media, VOD sites, downloads, various things like OneDrive, and different types of platforms we can deliver to. And then of course archive. We can then archive locally on LTO, S3 buckets, Glacier, Blob, Backblaze, Wasabi, other types of storage there as well. So all different types of options there. Okay, so first workflow, again, on-premise, archive, and publish system. Cisneros is one of our accounts. They actually were looking for a system to safely store all their content. They have petabytes and petabytes of information, so they wanted to be able to put it on a platform, be able to find it, search for it, find it, and then grab the media and then be able to publish that content as well. So what we did was for them, we put together a bundle with our Vault or actually publish there as well. One of the bundles there, Vault is mainly just for archive, and then publish is a bundle where you can also archive and then publish to different social media sites and different platforms. In their case, they're using Spectra Black Pearl as their intermediary data mover into the tape library, the Spectra library in this case. So in this case here, the media then goes into the eMAM system, gets indexed, and then moved either automatically or manually to the LTO library for safe storage. And then of course they can leave the media on local storage as well, and then maybe delete that later from the production storage. But you also have the, of course, the LTO library backup that you can basically grab at any time. So again, the media gets ingested. And that could be any type of content, so from documents, PowerPoints, all the way to 4K, 8K, whatever K is available these days. Being able to upload the media, images, graphics, documents, and so on. Now, in the system, you can actually have it automatically archive on ingest. You could have it timed to where after 3 days, I want you to go ahead and copy it to the production storage on ingest and then move a copy of the original over to the L2O library. And in this case here, using Black Pearl, then as the data mover to move it. But then we keep that information about the tape library and the location of that media. So then we can ask Black Pearl then at any one point in time to manually or automatically then restore that media for production or delivery and so on. So again, you can set up different rules in the upload to or copy to the L2O library system, or even S3 buckets, Backblaze and Wasabi and other types of storage that are up there, and S3 and Blob and so on, to then purge at a later time from the production storage. So like say 1 day or something, or 5 days or 10 days, or whatever. You also have the ability to set rules to where if media is not touched after 30 days, go ahead and archive it and then purge the media as well. And then at any one point in time, users can then search for the content, find the content, and then go ahead and actually restore that content there as well. So restoring the media can be a workflow on an automated basis. They could be within Adobe Premiere, other applications within the director interface to be able to then select and then go ahead and deliver that or restore that back from the L2O library. So a copy of it comes back onto the production storage, and then they're able to then deliver that or transcode it and then publish that media to social media or broadcast, VOD, and social media as well. So various ways of doing that. And again, on the delivery side, you can set up different types of delivery packages. So if it's going to have with captions, different audio tracks, bugs, or graphics and things like that on overlays and various things, we can use the file-based transcoders then to package up the media, deliver with metadata, and then deliver that to whatever social media site or publishing site that you're delivering to. So we can automate that entire process for you. So, all right, so going to the next workflow, cloud production and delivery. So this is the ability to set up the eMAM system up into the cloud, deliver the media or upload the media into S3 buckets, and then be able to then produce and then of course also deliver that content as well. Now, one of our larger customers, Spectrum, they actually have a system up in the cloud. And so the system has multiple EC2 servers where you can do load balancing, failover. If one of the database servers goes down, you can actually fail over to the second database server. And then you have multiple editors, multiple photographers being able to access that content, of course, through their single sign-on or through their credentials to be able to log in and get to the access to the media that they need for production. So they have the ability then to upload the content, have it transcoded, or and create the proxy for previewing, or mezzanine copy to be able to edit off mezzanines, within Adobe Premiere, for example, and so on. So what you're able to do, well, actually in their workflow, this is kind of interesting. They're using actually Salesforce to create a project within eMAM. So we have an API integration where the project's created in Salesforce, that then triggers a workflow to actually then build out a project file and a category and basically a whole structure for the photographers then to upload their content to that category. So in the category section, basically they're organized in that fashion for that particular project. So all the content, the graphics, the media, the images, B-roll, whatever goes up into the category and then is also assigned to that project, where then they can actually go in, create rough cuts within eMAM if they wanted to do it that way, or they can just go ahead and import that media locally or in the cloud to Adobe Premiere. So within Adobe Premiere, we have the panel, of course, like most, has a panel looking into the eMAM system, finding the project or finding the media, being able to then import that media either as a mezzanine copy or the original media, and then being able to edit that content, search for other types of content, import local content if they wanted to, and then be able to then put a sequence together. Once they have the sequence together, then they can then upload or export that back to eMAM as a project file, and then all the information about the sequence, and of course any new media that wasn't in eMAM would be then uploaded and linked to that project, and then someone else then can actually then check out that media and that project at any time. So if they have permissions to access that project, they can access that through the panel, import the project, and then import the media. And then at that point, they finish, render. We then link through the panel, by the way, the original media and the proxy media. So if you're going to go back and then do a full render with the original content, you would link with the original media and then perform that render and then upload that sequence as a new asset, and then run that, say, through a QC app, and then get it ready for delivery there as well. Okay. Media packaging and distribution. So what I mean by this is it's the process where you have multiple tracks, multiple segments, multiple graphics, multiple audio tracks, multiple captions, and they want to be then packaged up as one asset or one media, or with different segments, either way, with a graphic, with a bug, and then distribute that to the different platforms in the different formats and formats that they require on that end result platform you're delivering to. So the idea is that within eMAM, you have then all of the media, all of the audio files, all of the caption files, and so on, stored in eMAM, and then be able to package that up and deliver it. So one of our customers, Eros, they actually package up 3,000 different plus film library and inside of eMAM with different types of packages that they have to deliver to. So again, these are different OTT services, broadcast locations, and so on that they deliver to. And they've been doing this for over 40 years and so on. The problem they had was trying to then build out XMLs that then would then be processed and process the media in several different ways. But what they're able to do then is through eMAM is upload all their content, update all the audio files and so on. And then through that process within eMAM for delivery, we can then create multiple versions for them, and then the user just selects which version they need and then outputs that version wherever it's going to go. Now that will include the video, the audio, the subtitles, the graphics, whatever it might be. In this case here, we're using a TIM transcoder, and we have an interface where the user goes in, they select the media and the category. So they would actually select the category of all of the content and then take that entire category and then hit the delivery button. That then opens up a window that then allows them to package up that content and then deliver it to a TIM, and then be able to then select like all the different, for segment 1, segment 2, and segment 3, different segment audios, different caption files, and so on, and then be able to then hit the delivery button for a particular VOD site that they're delivering to. So what will happen here is that, this might be hard to see, but the idea is that it would take that entire package, send it over to this interface with the TIM, and then say, hey, you know what, we're missing part 3 audio wave. And so either we're going to go in and search for it here, that would be listed. And if it's not there, we would then have to backtrack and then go in and ask for that different audio track, or also the caption files as well. But if all of the content's here, everything would light up and it would be no red. It would all be white and the text here listed. There'd be no errors and so on. And then all the content's there and ready to go. So they can select the different 5.1 audio, they can select stereo audio, different caption files and so on, different languages and so on. So those, through this interface, somebody could package up pretty much anything they want and then deliver it to those different VOD sites. Through a tempo and archive management and using that for their local archive infrastructure as well. And then through this and this XML and these delivery templates that we give to a TIM, they then package up the media on how it needs to be for that particular VOD site with the right audio tracks and of course also the caption files in this case here. So this has saved them so much time and effort because they were writing XML files and different things for each of the different packages, and it just became so monotonous that through eMAM we were able to save them so much time, money, and labor to put up the packages. Now, what's interesting on the delivery package and what we call a delivery profile, you can then go ahead and embed and place then that XML and save that. So each time as a variable, we would go in and insert the name of the track, the audio track, the video track, and the caption file automatically for them. As the user just selects the ones they want, they hit it, and then the XML through eMAM and through this delivery profile is created automatically. And so that then is delivered to the TIM transcoder, and through that, TIM then packages up the media, and then we do the delivery to the VOD site. A sweet little package, way to go, and being able to make it easier for delivering multiple packages. Okay, so live recording and editing. So what I mean by this is we can actually use, we use Drastic Technologies, and we'll talk about this here in a second, but through like AJ, Blackmagic, Cards, Bluefish, and so on, we're able to then have multiple channels being recorded at one time. Now those could be streams, those could be also baseband through SDI, and then different SD, HD type quality or off tape decks and so on, if you've got some old content. While it's recording, so you can schedule a record or do a crash record, and then while it's coming in, you can actually edit that content, produce something different, and then output a different, maybe highlights of a sporting event, and then output that while it's being recorded. So this whole process is being used by one of our customers up in Canada, Yes TV, and so they actually then do live baseband recording from the studios. They can then take that if they wanted to. They don't currently do this, but they have the option then to do a live log and live trim as it's coming in, and then begin to edit that video while it's coming in and doing the recording. But all the different studio records come in, being able to go into the eMAM system. Someone could be logging that content and then drop it into, say, Adobe Premiere and start editing and cutting that media as well. So the idea here is with this live record with eMAM, you can have one or multiple servers running with, say, 4 channels per server, depending on the quality of the server and so on. You can put in the different encoder cards like AJA, Blackmagic, Bluefish, and others, being able to then have the feeds come in. The Drastic Technology NetX Code server software, that allows you to set the different encodes of the quality of the video that's coming in, and then the timing of that. So it's either a crash record or schedule record, and so on. Now, what they'll do is they'll produce a proxy file for us. And so that proxy is called RTIN, and that's previewable inside of the eMAM director. They'll also, in this process, create the original codec, whatever that might be, MXF or whatever it might be, and then they'll also produce a proxy file for us. Now, what happens here is that media then is available for users internally or externally, depending on their connection, being able to then view that content as it's coming in and logging that content, so in and out points and so on, and then being able to then create assets from that, or just save that as a log and then drop that into Adobe Premiere. So again, this gives you an option to watch media as it's coming in and start cutting it as it's coming in. So with Drastic, what we've had done is worked with them on different types of input. It could be HDMI, it could be SDI, feeds coming in, SRT, different types of IP streams as well that are coming in. With their software, we're able to then encode that different level of quality of video, original content. Of course, it depends on where it's coming from. So obviously an IP stream may not be as the highest quality versus say, HD or 4K or something coming in through SDI. But you're able to create an original content. It does create then that R10 file for us to view inside of eMAM. And then you can also open that up in Adobe or Avid as well, and see the content coming in, and then be able to edit it in those applications, or also log it and do some rough cuts and so on within inside of the eMAM system. Okay, so through that, they've given us a lot of opportunity to be able to produce this. So again, this is basically how this sets up. So the encoders basically then allow you to have those four channels coming in at one time. All the different channels that are coming in, we produce then the R10, the MP4, and then the high-res file. That then shows up into the eMAM director. It'll show up with a button that shows live. And so you can click on that and then preview that content. And as it's coming in, then you can start logging that content. So again, you can start adding markers or different subclips of that media as it's coming in. I could also deliver subclips if I wanted to, as different assets, or drop those onto a timeline. So with the Drastic software, this is where you're going in, you're setting all the different channels that you have up and running, the different codecs that you're going to have coming in. It's a live stream or it's a SDI. Being able to then select in the codec, the address of the stream that's coming in, or the SDI channel that's coming in. You can do a crash record here. I could start it or stop it. I could also then do some scheduling as well, but you also have monitoring capabilities. So all of the channels that you have, say on that one card in that one server, all four channels would show up here. You can sit and monitor those as they're coming in. And then of course, as I mentioned, you can go ahead and schedule then the different channels and what dates and times and so on, all through that software. But the cool thing here is that, again, I can log this content as it's coming in, different channels that are coming in. And then of course, through eMAM, I also have the ability to create a sequence. And then through that sequence, then I can drop in those subclips and be able to then, create a subclip. I could stitch this sequence together, or I can go ahead and just drop it right into Adobe Premiere and have it edited there as well. So, all right, last one we have, newsroom production and playout. So we work with a number of different systems that are out there that are new systems with automation as well, being able to work with the newsroom software to be able to create rundowns, create placeholders within eMAM, have a MOS object connected with eMAM, allow editors to drop media onto that and then onto that placeholder. And then through that placeholder, then they're able to drop it right into their rundown in their news story and then send that over to playout. So one of our clients here has an Amazon Nekia. I can never pronounce this right.
Amazonica.
The Amazonica. There we go. I just should think about my wife and delivery of Amazon. There we go. Amazonica. And so their workflows, basically, they're one of the largest networks in the world here for production and TV production and news production as well. So with 6.2 million viewers, again, 5 different broadcast, stations and so on, 150 municipalities and so on. Again, they have 500 million assets that they're dealing with. They're utilizing then eMAM then to organize all of that content. So the idea is that camera card uploads, media upload files go into the eMAM system. That then becomes available for the newsroom system. In this case here, they're using S News out of Brazil. So they have a playout system. They have also a news system there as well. So what we do is we connect then the media with their newsroom system, being able to add the media from eMAM that's produced in, say, Adobe Premiere. In this case here, they're using Adobe Creative Suite, Cloud Suite, and then being able to produce content, drop it into the newsroom system, and then have MOS integration, basically taking eMAM and moving a copy of the media over to the playout, and then through the rundown, then being able to then produce obviously a rundown of the story within the news broadcast and so on. So again, they also deliver to social media as well. So various ways in which we can use either Adobe Media Encoder or other applications to deliver directly to social media there as well. Now, how our normal news organizational structure works, or the workflow works, is typically what will happen is we'll have a MOS integration between the eMAM system and the newsroom system. So what we do here is that we connect through a MOS gateway, an eMAM MOS gateway. So we've connected this to the newsroom systems. And so you're able to then in the newsroom system, be able to go ahead and create a rundown. And through the rundown, you can create a MOS object in eMAM. Now, once you do that and save that, it actually then creates a placeholder within the eMAM system. What editors do is they create assets, they look at eMAM, they find the camera cards that were uploaded. Again, we could even use the live feed workflow as well, as news trucks are spinning up media, and they could be capturing that media, logging the media. That all can go into, say, Adobe Premiere, being able to edit that in Adobe Premiere, create a sequence, and then drop it onto that placeholder and sync it with this rundown. So that means that the story rundown, where they're going to go in and then when they want a video to play, that is going to be coming from the eMAM system through this placeholder and this MOS integration. And then what we can do is, as soon as the media is available, they'll drop it onto the placeholder, and it basically creates a new version of that with the asset or the video asset that they're applying it to, that placeholder. So that's the actual video asset that would play out during the rundown of their news story. Now, the one thing that can happen, is somebody may update that video. And so before the story airs, or maybe it airs and then maybe the next hour they're going to redo the story, but there's maybe some updated video, they can apply a new version of video to that placeholder and then sync it with that newsroom system. And then the next time that story does the rundown, or the rundown runs, that new video that's from eMAM will be then played out on their playout system. So again, we have a great connection between eMAM and the newsroom systems. And you can kind of start to see the application here. So media that comes in, I can archive it, I can cut it up and produce it and then deliver to social media and so on. I can do live edits while they're coming in as well. I can do production locally, or I can do production in the cloud. And then in the newsroom environment, all that media is available for someone to add it to a rundown and then sync it up with the story, and then do the play out there as well. All right, so I think we've come down to the end. Dave Miller has joined us, our president. And Dave, do we have any questions?
Sure, let me take a look and we'll answer all those. Thanks so much, Chuck, for presenting. It's been an exciting year. I want to thank everybody for joining us today, and it's been all the exciting things that we're working on. These were just some sample workflows that across the range of different workflows, but as you can see, or Chuck alluded to at least, there's a lot of configuration options, and that can be used to set up different workflows, different requirements. So happy to get on a discussion how we can meet any particular need that someone may have, but these were just samples. And we'll have some more coming up in the new year, but we wanted to end the year with some of the things that we'd been working on or had worked on in the past as samples. And yeah, so thanks so much, Chuck. There's a question on the licensing. So we have SaaS running in our software. in our platform. Pass, that's a cloud image that we can provide as a license. And then we have options where people can purchase or subscribe to a license. Happy to answer more details on that, or a shameless call out to our worldwide system integrator channel partners. That's right on our website, eMAM Solutions. Also, a call out to our technology partners. So we have 100 and counting, and they're also on our website. So with that, we have the flexibility to meet, to provide a lot of options for customers, for newsroom, for editing, et cetera. We're excited. We're going to have an upcoming webinar next month, also known as next year, with Avid. So we hopefully you can join in and see what we're doing with them. Happy, hopefully you can join us then, and some of the other things we're working on. So it'll be an exciting Q1 for us next year. Hope to see you at the shows in next year, NAB and so forth. Question about photos and documents. So yes, we can manage any kind of media. If there's something very, very obscure that cannot be transcoded in terms of a video format or codec, we can manage it. We just can't provide a proxy. But for photos and documents, we would also ingest the media, transcode the media, provide a proxy. And that's available for, can be delivered, can be downloaded, can be managed, et cetera. And let's see if there's any other questions people had. Yep. And so we will have a copy of the recording. We'd be happy to share that with you. Just let us know, or the presentation. And again, eMAM Solutions, you can look right there for things about our system, our system integrator channel partners, and our technology partners. And wanted to wish you, thank you for an exciting year we've had, and wish you best of luck, happiness, and success in the new year. Thanks for your interest today. Have a great day.